Hi, welcome to Wisecat. Okay, so today I'm actually doing a YouTube comment question. So this comment came through. Christian Mulland, thanks for asking this question, Christian. Great video, thanks. Do you have a video about migrating a Moodle from MySQL database to my Moodle Postgres SQL PSQL database? Thanks. I didn't, so I thought though that this is an interesting question, so I figured I might as well take it up fairly soon. It's actually a lot simpler than you might imagine because Moodle actually supplies a tool with it. So let's have a look. First of all, the actual I've got here in a Vagrant thing. Okay, yeah, it's unsecured. I know. Shh, let me in. All right, so I've got myself a little Moodle here. Here's my dashboard. Here are my courses. Boom, Leroy Studies. So I've got a little course in here with some contents in here, and this is just the Moodle that I'm going to migrate. This Moodle actually was built using a PostgreSQL database. I tend to prefer PostgreSQL. There's debate over which one is better, but okay, so it's complicated, as it tends to be, because I actually prefer PostgreSQL. I think it's easier on sysadmins and things like that. It tends to, if you say not null in a PostgreSQL database, it tends to actually enforce that rule a lot better than MySQL or MariaDB. But it also has some downfalls, in that, in particular, some plugins don't tend to play nice with PostgreSQL, so I can understand for plugin support. Some of the plugins, I mean, there's an argument saying, oh, the plugin should get better, but we don't live in a perfect world, so take that with your word. So I also understand that some people trying to upgrade their Moodle, but they say the environment will say that the SQL version is not good enough. So version 12 is required and you're running version 2. You know, MariaDB next version up. If you want to upgrade, you can't upgrade because you do not have the right version. So I can understand the reason to actually transfer across. Anyway, I don't really have a particular preference. I think Postgres and MariaDB both work quite fine. I do prefer to stick with as open source as possible, so I'll use MariaDB rather than MySQL. But anyway, currently this Moodle is on Postgres, as you can see here. So let's get migration happening. So first step, of course, is going to be that we want to actually put our Moodle into maintenance mode. Now, CLA maintenance mode is probably better, but what I'm going to do here is just use the Moodle interface to put this into maintenance mode here. Basically, you don't want to have anything writing to the database while you're trying to migrate it properly, because otherwise a write might be in progress as you are migrating, and that's not good. Okay, so now we're in maintenance mode here. I've got my courses and stuff like this, but I don't want to lose any data, so let's do a migration. Right, so this is where we come across to our terminal here. Now, first of all, in here, if I do which MySQL, I get nada, because there is no MySQL installed on this server. So the first thing I'm going to need is to sudo apt install, well, update, you might need to update as well, but I'm just going to go sudo apt install MariaDB server, and that will install MariaDB server. Now, MariaDB and MySQL are very closely related. They're designed to be a drop-in replacement, so migrating between MariaDB and MySQL is really simple. You just basically change in config.php MariaDB to MySQL, and you can switch over like that. But if you don't do that, if you want to go from MariaDB, PostgreSQL to MySQL or MariaDB, then you need to actually do a little bit more using the dbtransfer tool, which we will get to. Okay, but also so that PHP can connect to this MySQL-like MariaDB, we're going to need to also add the PHP module for that, and that's php-mysql. So if we just add those two, then we should have all the dependencies, the prerequisites we need. And bada bing, bada bang, bada boom. That has now gone through, and so we've got PHP MySQL and the MySQL thing. So if I go which MySQL, now I've got USR bin MySQL. Now again, if it is actually true MySQL, it's the same thing. And by the way, if you're doing this in reverse, you can easily do this in reverse and go from MySQL to PostgreSQL. The process is the same, just switch the names around. Okay, so that's not the end of a MySQL installation though, because we still need to do sudo mysql_secure installation, and I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that either. Well, actually, whatever. I'm not going to change the root password. Sure. Mostly you can just hit the enter key for a lot of these. Reload privileged. Great. So now I've got MariaDB installed and the MySQL secure installation is done, which is just standard installing MySQL. You don't really have to do that on PostgreSQL. Another thing I like about PostgreSQL. All right, so let's keep going. So the next thing we're going to want is to actually create a Moodle database to take the data that we're going to put in there. So what I'm going to do now, I've got some notes down here so I can copy paste and I don't have to worry about it too much. So I'm going to do this one here. Sudo mysql. Right, going to go to sudo mysql. And first I'm going to need a user, so I'm going to just create a user. And this is the basic setup for an SQL database. I've got my user there. I'm going to create a database called Moodle. And that's going to have the character set and blah, 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 as done. I'm going to grant my privileges to my new user, to my new database. And so that's good. And I'm going to flush the privileges so that all those, maybe that's not absolutely necessary, but why not? Flush privileges, never hurt anyone. Okay, so now if I go in here and go show databases, you can see that I've got a Moodle database there. If I go use Moodle and show tables, you can see that there's nothing in there. It's an empty set. Okay, so let's leave MariaDB for a second there. Let's go into Postgres. So sudo-u Postgres PSQL to get to our Postgres thing there, and locale settings not set, I don't care. /L for a list of the databases, and we can see that we've got Moodle is in here. It's got Moodle user as its owner, and that's the database that we want. If I connect to that, which is in Postgres is /c and then the database name, then I can be connected there, and I can go /dt to show all of the tables, and you can see this is where all the Moodle data is. So this is what we want to do to get out. Now the thing is that to transfer the databases across, you can't actually just go with MySQL dump and then go push that into PG Postgres database. That doesn't really work so well. But what you can do is use the Moodle tool for that. So let's do that. I think I'm forgetting to say something. I might remember later, and this will be a weird video. But anyway, let's go into the tool. So cd/srv is where I've put my Moodle there. There's the www. And actually the location of this tool is in admin tool CLI dbtransfer /CLI is where we want to go to find it. That's where the tool actually is. So it's admin tool dbtransfer CLI. Right, there is a web interface version of it, but I don't really care for it. All right, so if we look in here, there's only the one tool in there called migrate.php, but it's essentially ready to go. However, there is one more thing that we might want to do, and I'll pull this out of the way and check for it. In the environment, if we look in, not in environment, sorry, if we look at PHP info here at the moment, and let's do a Control F for MySQL, you can see that the MySQL has actually been loaded here on this one. And the MySQLi is actually loaded here. That's cool, that's fine, that's awesome. It sometimes when you install it, it is not enabled by default. You know, it doesn't just reload. So sometimes what you might have to do, depending on your server, is go sudo systemctl, restart. It's too small. PHP. So I'm on 7.4. I'm naughty. It's end of life. Shouldn't use PHP 7.4 anymore. Go to 8.0. It's good. But restarting that will make sure that the new MySQL version is loaded, and make sure that it's loaded so that it's ready to go and we can actually use MySQL databases with this, because if you don't have the connector, PHP can't connect to it. Okay, so what's left to do? We want to do our migrate.php. So we're in the directory already, admin tool dbtransfer CLI, and we're going to do our migrate. The server, the Moodle again, is in maintenance mode, which is very important. Must be in maintenance mode, otherwise you run the risk of corrupting your database. So I'm going to go sudo -u www.data, so that it's the web server user that's doing this. And because we actually want Moodle to use its own connection to the existing database to migrate. And we're just going to go php migrate.php. So we're going to run that one. Okay, let's hit it. And now it's saying, okay, choose your database driver. And now I've got a whole bunch of options here, PGSQL and stuff like this. Now, actually it says MySQLi and stuff like that. It's given us some options, but actually what we've got installed is MariaDB, not really true MySQL. So I'm going to use this one, MariaDB. All right, database host. Now the host is localhost, because this is locally hosted. If you have an external database server, you can choose which host it is. Database name was Moodle. A database user. Now this has actually changed, right? It was Moodle user in the existing one, but in here we've got database user is Moo user. And the password was humble goldfish. This is when I set up the MySQL database just before. Ooh, not humble with an A. Bloomin'. Humble goldfish. Yeah, okay. And now the labels prefix, the prefix that we want to actually have. So Moodle's default prefix is MDL_. And so I think I might just keep that for now. You can actually change it by doing this. So, and port type value. Port is more so if you're connecting to a different database server. So if your PostgreSQL is actually on another server in your cluster there. For me, it's irrelevant, so I'll just hit enter. Unix socket, same way, kind of irrelevant. I'm just going to hit enter. And there it goes. And it is copying all of those tables across. Right, success, yay. All right, if yours, if you have a rather large one, then you might run into a few problems with timeouts and things like that. Those typically, when they've happened to me in the past, can be fixed by changing the way you're logging into the server. So if you can log directly into the server, or you can add some other things that prevent timeouts from happening. Sorry, I'm not going to go into that today because time. Anyway, that is actually transferred it across. So now, if we look at our, go back to our site administration, go back to our server, look at our environment, and whoa, wait a minute, you said it was done, but hey, we're still on Postgres. What gives? Well, what gives is that we have not actually told Moodle that we want it to use this other server. So we got a cd dot dot cd dot dot cd dot dot cd dot dot and go all the way down to the www root. And now we need to sudo nano config .php, and we have to go in here, and we have to change these things around. So some of the things that we need to change are, for example, DB type, because we're not using PostgreSQL anymore. We need to change this to MariaDB, because we want to use MariaDB. DB host was localhost, that is the same. But Moodle user, I changed the username for my user in MySQL, so it's now Moo user. And over here, please choose better passwords than this. Yeah, that's always good advice, but I just went with humble goldfish. Right, so there are my new database credentials, and essentially, if I save that, that's it. It should be just there. So I'm going to save that, write that to the PHP. It's written, and exit out of Nano, and should be done. So now, hopefully, boom, I go to site administration, go to server, go to environment, et voila, I am now on MariaDB. Seamless, right? So you can also see that this is on MariaDB. It's on version 10.4 is required, and I'm on 10.5.18. And I can also go to my course in here, and you can see all the data is all still in the exact same place, exactly as it should be. Okay, so I think I've managed to keep this one fairly short. It's only like 17 minutes at the moment, so that's pretty much it. So to answer your question, do I have a video about migrating Moodle from MySQL database to PostgreSQL database? No, I don't, but I have one going the other way. Of course, actually, okay, fine. I will, okay, I'm being too lazy, but what I should do is just go, yeah, I'm going to, let's do one in the other way, okay, shall we? All right, so let's go one, we'll do one in the opposite direction. What we need is, we need to get into PostgreSQL again, right? Bang. So now we're going the other way. So go the other way. Oh, I should change that screen. There we go. So now you can see better. All right, I am in PSQL now, PostgreSQL. If I list my database, there's the Moodle database right there from before. But I'm going to say make a new database for new Moodle. So what I want to do is, okay, let's change the user as well, shall we? So I'm going to create a user, Moo user with password, I don't know, fishy. Please use better passwords than I am using in this video. But anyway, so fishy, something fishy. This is only on this is not a live server that's visible from the internet. So hence I'm being a little bit lax with this. But anyway, so I've got my Moo user now. That's a different user. This is not Moodle user. This is Moo user here. So this is going to be very different. And I'm going to create a database for the new DB. So I'm going to call it Moodle _new _DB. Why not? Bang, bang. And now if I list it, you can see I've got my Moodle new DB, and it's got a new username, right? It's got a new owner as well. It's not the same owner even. So even that's different. So if I want to go the opposite direction, next I'm just doing the same thing with that transfer tool, but I'm going in the opposite direction here. If I, okay, just to demonstrate, connect to Moodle _new DB, And DT will have nothing in there. Did not find any relations. There's nothing in there. Okay, so we exit out of there. And what are we going to do next? What we are going to do is cd into the admin /tool/dbtransfer directory and CLI. Also, we want CLI because it's fun. And we're going to go run the exact same command as before. Where, oh, it was after that, wasn't it? Doopy-doopy-doop. www php migrate.php. Yep, that's what we want. Now, choose database driver. This time our target, and remember this is only the target we're going for, is PostgreSQL. So PGSQL. The database host is localhost again. The database name was Moodle _new_DB. Okay, so we're putting, that's our target. Database user was Moo user. We changed that, right? Database password was fishy. And database prefix was, well, it was MDL, so let's change it to fish _. So that should be the new prefix. It'll change it all around. I'll show you something else that we've got to do later as well. Port type value, not relevant here because we're sticking to the localhost. Same with socket, we can just go there. And that is now actually transferring from the MariaDB or MySQL database across to PostgreSQL again. And success has happened. But again, we have to change the config.php to do stuff just so what we've got to do here is we've got to actually go to config.php again, and this time of course we have to go to MariaDB. We're changing that back to PGSQL. We've got native localhost. We've got now it's Moodle _new_DB. Moo user and humble goldfish was not it. It's fishy now. Now I'm going to just leave this prefix at the moment as it is, because I'm going to show you what happens when you don't do that, when you don't get the prefix right. So now if I go back here to there and now go back and try to say go to home, error, probably, yeah, it's, oh, that's a different error. That's if you make a spelling error on PGSQL and type in 2 Qs. Whoops. Okay, let's fix that. There's always got to be one, right? Okay, so now let's go in here and let's refresh that one. Again, database connection failed. Could be that the database is overloaded, etc. Check that the stuff is correctly specified in config.php. What did I miss up? Wait a minute. That's not the error I was expecting here. Just a second. It looks like I've messed up something else. Okay, database connection failed. Why is that failing? It did say something about fishy. Let's have a look. I created a new database with the owner of Moo user. Moo user has fishy. Okay. Let's connect to Moodle new database. And DT, make sure, yeah, everything's in there. And you can see instead of saying MDL, it's saying fish, admin presets and things like that. But all of my tables seem in there and everything fine. Why can't you connect? Okay. Okay. PGSQL native not writable. Moo user is correct. The password is fishy. That is correct. And the prefix is fish as well. Ah, New DB, not ne.db. Okay, so I'm going to do that, and I'm going to change this prefix here back to MDL. Right? Yeah, it's a computer, so spelling is important. There you go. By the way, you've just seen some active troubleshooting, so let's do this. Okay, so I'm going to save that. Okay, that's written 45 lines. Great. I'm going to come back here and F5. And what's happening? What? I've got an installation screen. What? Why? This is not a new Moodle. Why is it asking me installation questions? Well, because I've got here the prefix is set incorrectly to MDL. So you can actually run multiple Moodles off the same database if you have different prefixes for all of them. Because as long as the tables are different, Moodle doesn't really care if you have other data in the same database. But if I just fix that to fish there, and save that, and go back out now, I can cancel that, blah, 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 whatever. But docs up middle, oh come on. What I want to do is just, okay, refresh this. There we go. Anyway, I am currently now in my Moodle again, and now I've gone from, if I go to the environment, we can see that I'm now back on Postgres. Okay, so I went from Postgres to MariaDB and then back to Postgres again, and I'm on a separate database now. Okay, so I've done it both ways and troubleshot a few issues along the way because I was bad at typing. Right, hope that this answers the question. So actually now I can say, yes, I do have a video on that and going the other way as well, because that's how this video started out. Thank you very much. I hope this helps, and happy Moodling. See ya.